Ms. Williams, I'm sorry, but the test results are conclusive. You're infertile. Zara Williams stared at Dr. Miller across the sterile desk, her hands trembling as she clutched the medical report. The words blurred before her eyes. Diminished ovarian reserve, severely compromised fertility, unlikely to ever conceive naturally. At 26 years old, her entire world crumbled with those clinical phrases. Behind her, she heard her fiancé, Marcus Davis, scoff loudly, the sound cutting through her shock like a knife. I knew it, Marcus sneered, his voice dripping with contempt. 3 years together and nothing? My mother was right about you. You're defective. Zara turned slowly, seeing the man she'd loved for 3 years as if for the first time. His handsome face was twisted with disgust. His expensive suit, the one she'd helped him pick out, seemed to mock her poverty. Marcus, please, we can look into other options. There's IVF, adoption. Are you insane? He cut her off with a harsh laugh. Do you have any idea how much IVF costs? Tens of thousands of dollars. For what? To maybe give me a kid that's half yours? No thanks. Dr. Miller cleared his throat uncomfortably. Mr. Davis, perhaps we could discuss this privately. There's nothing to discuss, Marcus interrupted, pulling an envelope from his jacket pocket and tossing it at Zara's feet. Here's $50,000. Consider it compensation for wasting 3 years of my life. We're done. Zara's legs felt weak. She gripped the edge of the desk to steady herself. What are you talking about? We're engaged. The wedding is in 2 months. The wedding's canceled. I'm marrying someone else. Someone who can actually give me children. Marcus checked his watch impatiently. My new fiancée is already 2 months pregnant. At least she can give me what you never could. A family. The room spun. Zara felt bile rise in her throat. 2 months? You've been cheating on me for 2 months? Try 6 months, Marcus corrected with casual cruelty. And before you play the victim, you should know. It's someone you know very well. Your sister Simone sends her regards. She really appreciates you training me to be such a good man for her. The words hit Zara like a physical blow. Simone? My sister Simone? Marcus's smile was vicious. Who else? She's fertile, beautiful, successful, and actually useful. Everything you're not. Your mother always said Simone was the better daughter. Guess she was right. He turned toward the door, then paused, looking back with mock sympathy. Oh, and Zara. Your whole family knows. They've known for months. Your mother threw Simone an engagement party last week. You weren't invited. The door clicked shut behind him, leaving Zara alone with Dr. Miller and the suffocating silence. Ms. Williams, the doctor said gently, I have resources for counseling if you need. How much? Zara's voice came out hoarse. Excuse me? How much did they pay you to falsify these results? Dr. Miller's face paled. I don't know what you're suggesting. My mother. How much did she pay you? Zara stood, her grief crystallizing into cold clarity. I've had irregular periods my whole life, but I've never had a single test indicating infertility, not until today. Not until right before my wedding to a man my mother wanted for my sister. Ms. Williams, I assure you these results are... Save it. Zara grabbed the envelope of money from the floor. Blood money, conscience money. She didn't care. She'd earned it through 3 years of loving a man who'd been planning to betray her. I want copies of everything. All test results, all records. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. She walked out of the clinic on autopilot, her mind struggling to process the betrayal. Not just Marcus. She could almost understand a weak man being seduced, but Simone, her own sister, and her mother, orchestrating it all. The spring afternoon mocked her with its beauty. Young couples walked hand in hand. A pregnant woman laughed with her partner outside a cafe. Zara made it to a bench in a small park before her legs gave out completely. She wasn't crying. She was beyond tears. Everything she'd believed about her life, her family, her future, all lies. Miss, are you all right? The voice was deep, accented, and genuinely concerned. Zara looked up into the most striking face she'd ever seen. The man was devastatingly handsome, sharp jawline, intense dark eyes that seemed to see right through her, perfectly styled black hair. He wore a charcoal suit that probably cost more than her car, and everything about him screamed wealth and power. I'm fine, Zara lied automatically, then laughed bitterly at herself. Actually, I'm not fine at all. I just found out my fiancé has been cheating on me with my sister. My entire family knew about it, and apparently I'm infertile. So no, I'm not fine. She didn't know why she was telling this to a complete stranger, maybe because he was a stranger, someone who had no stake in her humiliation. The man sat down beside her, maintaining a respectful distance. I couldn't help overhearing your conversation in the clinic. I had a consultation with Dr. Miller's colleague. The walls are quite thin. Zara felt fresh humiliation wash over her. Great. So you heard everything. I heard enough to know you've been betrayed by people who should have protected you. He pulled a business card from his pocket and handed it to her. My name is Kang Min-jun. I'm the CEO of Kang Global Enterprises, and I have a proposition for you. Zara looked at the card. The name was familiar. She'd seen it in business magazines. Kang Global was one of the largest import-export companies in North America, with headquarters in New York and Seoul. This man was a billionaire. What kind of proposition? She asked warily. A marriage of convenience. I need a wife. You need revenge and a fresh start. We could help each other. They talked for 3 hours in a private room at an expensive restaurant Min-jun owned. He ordered food that Zara barely touched, too nervous to eat, while he explained his situation with business-like precision. My family built Kang Global from nothing, Min-jun began, his fingers steepled on the table. My grandfather started with a single shipping container. My father expanded to a fleet. I've taken us global. We're now worth $4.2 billion, but my family is traditional. Very traditional. And they want you married, Zara guessed. They want me to produce an heir. I'm 32 years old and, in their eyes, wasting my potential. Min-jun's jaw tightened. When I was 7, I contracted a severe illness, bacterial meningitis. It nearly killed me. The treatment saved my life, but supposedly left me sterile. I've been told my entire adult life that I can never father children. Zara's breath caught. You're infertile too? According to every doctor I've seen for the past 15 years, yes. My sperm count is functionally 0. He met her eyes directly. My family knows this, but they insist I try anyway. They've given me an ultimatum. Marry within 3 months and at least attempt to conceive, or they'll remove me as CEO and give my position to my cousin James. Can they do that? The company structure gives the family board significant power. James has been poisoning them against me for years, suggesting I'm too focused on Western ways, that I've abandoned Korean values. My refusal to marry has been his strongest ammunition. Min-jun leaned back. I don't care about marriage itself, but I've spent my life building this company. I won't let James destroy it with his incompetence. So you need a wife who can't get pregnant, Zara said slowly, so your family can't blame you when there's no heir. Exactly. You need a way out of your current situation. I'm offering you that. We marry, live together for appearances, and after 2 years, once I've secured my position and outlasted James's schemes, we divorce quietly. You'll receive $10 million. $10 million. Zara's mind reeled. She made $42,000 a year as a junior accountant. $10 million was freedom. It was revenge. It was the ability to never depend on anyone again. What are the terms? She asked. Min-jun slid a folder across the table. This is a preliminary agreement. You'll have your own lawyer review it, of course. The key points. We live together in my penthouse. You'll attend business functions as my wife. We maintain separate bedrooms and lives otherwise. No infidelity. We can't risk scandal. And absolutely no emotional attachment. This is a business arrangement, nothing more. You're saying no feelings. I don't do feelings, Ms. Williams. I've built my entire life on logic and strategy. Love is a weakness I can't afford. His voice was cold, matter of fact. I'll never love you. If you need romance or affection, you're looking at the wrong man. Can you accept that? Something in Zara's chest, already broken today, cracked a little more, but she was done believing in love. Love had given her Marcus. Love had let her family betray her. Good, she said, her voice steady. I don't need love. I need freedom. When do we start? Minjun allowed himself a small smile. I like you, Ms. Williams. You're practical. We'll marry within the week. My family is pressuring me, and speed will prevent any of your family from interfering. You'll move into the penthouse immediately. Pack only what you need. I'll provide everything else. I have one condition, Zara said. My family doesn't find out until after the wedding. I want them to realize what they've lost only when it's too late. Minjun's smile widened. I told you I liked you. We have a deal, Miss Williams. Zara? She corrected. If we're going to be married, you should call me Zara. Zara, he repeated, the name sounding exotic in his accented English. Welcome to the Kang family. 5 days later, Zara stood in a courthouse wearing a simple white dress Minjun's assistant had purchased. There were no guests, no flowers, no music. Just a judge, 2 witnesses pulled from the courthouse staff, and a marriage certificate that would change her life. Do you, Zara Michelle Williams, take Kang Minjun to be your lawfully wedded husband? Zara looked at the stranger beside her, this beautiful, cold man who was offering her a lifeline. I do. Do you, Kang Minjun, take Zara Michelle Williams to be your lawfully wedded wife? I do. His voice was steady, businesslike. This could have been a merger negotiation. By the power vested in me by the state of New York, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride. Minjun hesitated for just a moment, then leaned in and pressed a chaste, brief kiss to Zara's lips. It was cold, perfunctory, exactly what she'd expected. And yet, something flickered in his eyes as he pulled away. Something quickly shuddered and hidden. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Kang, the judge said with a warm smile, oblivious to the transaction that had just occurred. Mrs. Kang. Zara Williams was gone. Zara Kang had taken her place. Minjun drove her to his penthouse in his Mercedes, the city flowing past in a blur. He hadn't spoken since leaving the courthouse except to take a phone call in rapid Korean. Zara understood enough from his tone that he was informing his family of the marriage. The conversation sounded tense. The penthouse occupied the entire top floor of a luxury building in Midtown Manhattan. Zara stepped inside and felt immediately overwhelmed. Floor-to-ceiling windows offered stunning views of Central Park. The decor was minimalist but expensive, all clean lines, neutral colors, and what she suspected was museum-quality art. Your room is this way, Minjun said, leading her down a hallway. He opened a door to reveal a spacious bedroom with an ensuite bathroom. My room is on the opposite end of the penthouse. We won't disturb each other. It's beautiful, Zara said honestly. Mrs. Chen, my housekeeper, will be here weekday mornings. She's discreet and loyal. You can trust her. Minjun checked his watch. I have a business dinner tonight. You're not expected to attend. We'll introduce you to my business associates gradually. Order whatever you'd like for dinner. The kitchen is fully stocked, or all my regular restaurants know to put charges on my account. Okay, Zara said, feeling adrift. Minjun paused at the door. Zara, I know this is strange, but you're safe here. Whatever happens, you're under my protection now. Your family can't hurt you anymore. Then he was gone, leaving Zara alone in her new life. She spent the evening exploring the penthouse like a ghost haunting a museum. Everything was beautiful and cold and impersonal. There were no photos, no personal touches. Minjun's bedroom door was closed and she didn't dare open it. In her new room, she finally let herself cry. Not for Marcus. She realized with surprise that she felt nothing for him now except contempt. Not even for her family's betrayal, though that still stung. She cried for the girl she'd been yesterday, the one who still believed in love and family and happy endings. That girl was gone. In her place was Mrs. Kang, a role she would play perfectly for 2 years, collect her $10 million, and finally be free. The first month of marriage was strange and lonely. Minjun left for work before dawn and rarely returned before midnight. When they did cross paths, he was polite but distant, asking if she needed anything before disappearing into his home office. Mrs. Chen became Zara's only real companion. The elderly Korean woman arrived each morning at 7, cleaned the already immaculate penthouse, and always had fresh coffee waiting. She spoke limited English, but her kindness transcended language barriers. "You eat," Mrs. Chen would insist, presenting elaborate Korean breakfasts. "Too skinny. Mr. Kang needs strong wife." Zara didn't have the heart to tell her this marriage was temporary. Min Jun had given her a credit card with no limit and instructions to buy whatever you need. Zara, who'd spent her whole life budgeting every dollar, felt paralyzed by the abundance. She bought some new clothes, business casual outfits for the charity events Minjun occasionally required her to attend. But mostly, she felt like an imposter playing dress-up. The one bright spot was her new lawyer, Patricia Chen. No relation to Mrs. Chen, a sharp woman in her 50s who'd reviewed Zara's prenuptial agreement and declared it surprisingly fair for a billionaire. "Most men in his position would have you sign away any claim to assets," Patricia explained, "but this guarantees you the 10 million even if the marriage ends before 2 years, plus a monthly allowance, full health insurance, and a housing stipend if you choose to move out before the divorce is final. He's either genuinely decent or you have excellent leverage." "I don't have any leverage," Zara said. Patricia smiled knowingly. "Then maybe he's decent. Rare in my line of work." Meanwhile, Zara's phone buzzed constantly with messages from her family. Her mother's texts evolved from concern to anger. "Zara, where are you? Call me immediately. This is ridiculous. Marcus feels terrible. He wants to talk? Simone is very upset. You're ruining her happiness with your selfishness. If you don't respond, don't bother coming to the wedding." Zara blocked them all. Let them wonder. 6 weeks into the marriage, Minjun actually joined her for dinner. Mrs. Chen had left the elaborate Korean meal, and Zara was eating alone when he emerged from his office, looking exhausted. "May I join you?" he asked formally. "It's your house," Zara replied, then softened. "I mean, yes, please." They ate in silence for several minutes before Minjun spoke. "My family wants to meet you. They're hosting a dinner party next Saturday. It will be intense, very traditional, many questions. Should I be worried?" "They'll judge you," he said bluntly. "Your background, your manners, whether you're suitable for the Kang family. My mother will be particularly difficult. But you don't need to impress them. You just need to survive the evening." "Comforting," Zara said dryly. Minjun almost smiled. "You're stronger than you think, Zara. You walked away from your entire life without looking back. That takes courage." It was the first personal thing he'd said to her. Zara felt a small warmth in her chest, quickly suppressed. This wasn't real. He was being kind because she was useful to him. "I'll do my best," she promised. That night, Zara woke up at 2 a.m. violently ill. She barely made it to the bathroom before vomiting. Must be something she ate, she thought, though everything had tasted fine. The nausea continued for 3 days, then a week. Mrs. Chen noticed immediately. "You sick," she declared, pressing a hand to Zara's forehead. "Go, doctor." "I'm fine," Zara insisted. "Just a stomach bug." But when she couldn't keep down even plain toast, Mrs. Chen put her foot down. "Go, doctor, or I tell Mr. Kang." Zara went to the doctor. Dr. Sarah Park was a kind woman in her 40s who came highly recommended. She examined Zara thoroughly, asked detailed questions about her symptoms, and then requested a blood test and ultrasound. "Just to rule everything out," she explained. "With nausea this persistent, we want to be thorough." Zara sat in the examination room, waiting for results, idly scrolling through her phone. She'd gained a bit of weight recently, probably Mrs. Chen's cooking, and her period was late, but it had always been irregular. Dr. Miller's diagnosis confirmed she was infertile anyway. Dr. Miller. The name made her angry all over again. Patricia was still investigating whether the falsified results gave them grounds for a malpractice suit. "Mrs. Kang?" Dr. Park entered with a tablet and an expression Zara couldn't read. "I have your results. You might want to sit down." "I'm already sitting." Dr. Park smiled. "Fair point. Mrs. Kang, you're pregnant. 8 weeks, by my calculations." The world stopped. Zara's ears rang. "That's impossible. I'm infertile. I have medical records." "Those records were falsified, Mrs. Kang. I've reviewed them. The numbers were manufactured. You're not infertile. You never were." Dr. Park turned her tablet around, showing an ultrasound image. "And there's something else. Mrs. Kang, you're not just pregnant. You're carrying triplets. 3 babies, all with strong heartbeats." Zara stared at the screen. 3 tiny forms, 3 flickering lights marking 3 impossible lives. "How?" she whispered. "The usual way," Dr. Park said gently. "Do you need me to explain?" "No, I mean, my husband. He's sterile. Multiple doctors confirmed it. This shouldn't be possible." Dr. Park's expression grew thoughtful. "Medical misdiagnosis happens more than people realize, especially with male fertility. Tests can be inaccurate, results misread. If your husband was told he was sterile as a child after an illness, it's possible his fertility recovered over time. Bodies heal. Sometimes miracles happen. Miracles. 3 of them, apparently." "Mrs. Kang, I need to know, is this pregnancy wanted? You have options if—" "No," Zara said quickly, her hands instinctively moving to her stomach. "I mean, yes. It's wanted. I need to think." Dr. Park handed her printouts of the ultrasound images and a bottle of prenatal vitamins. "You're healthy? The babies are healthy? But triplet pregnancies are high risk. You'll need careful monitoring. And Mrs. Kang, I'd recommend telling your husband soon. You'll need support for this journey." Zara walked out of the clinic in a daze, clutching the ultrasound images. How was she going to tell Minjun? Their entire marriage was built on the foundation that neither of them could have children. This changed everything. Would he think she'd tricked him? Would he demand she end the pregnancy? Would he want a divorce immediately? And underneath all her panic was a tiny growing seed of something else. Hope. She was pregnant. With 3 babies. She wasn't broken after all. Zara spent the afternoon walking aimlessly through Central Park trying to formulate a plan. By the time she returned to the penthouse, it was nearly dinner time. Minjun's car was already in the garage. He was home early for once. She found him in the living room, jacket discarded, tie loosened, staring at a tablet with a deep frown. "Zara, he said without looking up. Mrs. Chen told me you saw a doctor today. Are you ill? This was it. Zara's hands trembled as she pulled the ultrasound images from her purse. Minjun, we need to talk. He finally looked up, and something in her expression made him set down the tablet immediately. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, exactly, but something's changed. She sat down across from him, spreading the ultrasound images on the coffee table between them. I'm pregnant. Minjun stared at the images for a long moment. His face was unreadable. That's not possible. That's what I said. But Dr. Park ran every test, there's no doubt. I'm 8 weeks pregnant. Zara took a breath. Minjun, I'm carrying triplets. 3 babies. All healthy. The silence stretched so long Zara thought she might scream. Minjun picked up one of the ultrasound images with careful fingers, as if it might disintegrate. I know this wasn't part of our agreement, Zara continued, words tumbling out. I understand if you're angry, if you think I somehow deceived you, but I swear, I had no idea this was possible. Dr. Miller's diagnosis was fake. My mother paid him to tell me I was infertile. And apparently, your diagnosis was wrong too. Dr. Park said medical errors happen, that bodies heal, that... Zara. Minjun's voice cut through her rambling. Stop. She braced herself for anger, for accusations. Instead, Minjun laughed. It started as a chuckle, then grew into full, genuine laughter, the first real laugh she'd ever heard from him. This is perfect, he said, still laughing, shaking his head. This is absolutely perfect. Perfect? Zara stared at him. Minjun, we married specifically because we couldn't have children. This ruins everything. No. He set down the ultrasound image and met her eyes with an intensity that made her breath catch. Zara, don't you understand? This saves everything. My family wants an heir. Now I can give them 3. James loses his leverage. My position as CEO becomes unassailable. This is the best possible outcome. Zara felt dizzy with relief. You're not angry? Angry? I'm stunned, confused, but not angry. Minjun ran a hand through his hair, a rare gesture of vulnerability. For 15 years, I believed I could never father children. Every doctor told me my sperm count was effectively 0. I built my entire life around that reality. And now you're going to be a father. To triplets. Zara felt a hysterical laugh bubble up. We're both going to be parents. This is insane. Completely insane, Minjun agreed. Then, more quietly, Zara, I need to know. Do you want this? This pregnancy, it's your body, your choice. If you don't want to continue, I want them, Zara said immediately. The certainty surprised her. She'd barely had time to process the news, but she knew this truth in her bones. I want these babies. All 3 of them. Something shifted in Minjun's expression. For just a moment, the cold businessman disappeared, replaced by a man who looked almost vulnerable. Good. That's good. They sat in silence for a moment, the weight of this new reality settling over them. We'll need to tell my family, Minjun finally said. They'll be overjoyed. 3 potential heirs at once. What about the divorce? Zara asked. Our 2-year agreement? We'll renegotiate. Obviously, circumstances have changed. Minjun's business mask slipped back into place. You'll need the best prenatal care. I'll arrange for Dr. Park to have full access to our resources. And security. Triplet pregnancies carry risks. I'll hire a security team. Minjun, that's not necessary. Yes, it is. His voice was firm. You're carrying my children now, Zara. I protect what's mine. The words sent a shiver through her. Not entirely unpleasant. There's one more thing, Zara said. Your family dinner on Saturday. Should we tell them then? Minjun considered. No. Let's wait until after the first trimester, when the risk of miscarriage decreases. For now, this stays between us and Dr. Park. And Mrs. Chen. She'll figure it out immediately. Minjun smiled slightly. Mrs. Chen is discreet. She'll guard this secret with her life. As if summoned, Mrs. Chen appeared in the doorway. She took one look at their faces, at the ultrasound images on the table, and broke into the biggest smile Zara had ever seen. "Babies!" she exclaimed in heavily accented English. "3 babies! I know. I tell you, see, doctor." So much for keeping secrets. Saturday arrived with all the dread of an execution. Zara stood in front of her closet, having tried on and rejected 8 different outfits. Minjun had explained that his family was traditional, which Zara had learned meant a dozen unspoken rules about proper behavior for Korean women. She finally settled on a navy dress, elegant but conservative, paired with pearl earrings Minjun had given her for appearances. She looked like someone's respectable wife. The irony wasn't lost on her. Minjun emerged from his room in a perfectly tailored suit, looking like he was preparing for battle rather than dinner. "Ready?" he asked, not even slightly. "Good. Honesty is refreshing." He offered his arm, a gesture he usually skipped. "They'll try to intimidate you, my mother especially. Just remember, you don't need their approval. You just need to survive the evening. You really know how to motivate a girl." The Kang family estate was in Westchester, a sprawling traditional Korean home that had been shipped piece by piece from Seoul and reconstructed. Zara felt her anxiety spike as they pulled through the gates. Minjun's parents, Han-jae and Mi-sun Kang, waited at the entrance with Minjun's younger sister Hana and his cousin James. Han-jae was a stern-looking man in his 60s, who had clearly passed his sharp features to his son. Mi-sun was elegant and cold, her eyes raking over Zara with obvious judgment. "Mother, father." Minjun bowed slightly. "This is my wife, Zara." Zara bowed as Minjun had taught her, keeping her eyes down respectfully. "It's an honor to meet you." Mi-sun's response was in rapid Korean. Minjun replied in the same language, his tone respectful, but firm. The conversation went back and forth for a minute before Mi-sun finally switched to English. "My son tells me you speak no Korean. How unfortunate. You'll need to learn if you're to be part of this family." "I'm taking lessons," Zara lied smoothly. She'd start tomorrow. "And your family?" "Minjun has told us nothing about your background." "My family and I are estranged," Zara said. Meeting Mi-sun's eyes, they weren't supportive of our marriage. This was apparently the right answer. Mi-sun nodded approvingly. "Family loyalty is important, but loyalty to your husband's family comes first now." James stepped forward with a politician's smile. "Welcome to the family, Zara. I'm sure you'll find we're very close-knit. We take care of our own." The subtext was clear. Step out of line, and we'll destroy you. Dinner was a 12-course affair served in a formal dining room. Zara was seated between Hana, who offered sympathetic smiles, and Minjun, who kept a protective hand on the back of her chair. The conversation flowed around Zara in a mix of Korean and English. She understood enough to grasp that James was needling Minjun about his sudden marriage, implying it was a desperate move. "So sudden," James said in English, clearly for Zara's benefit. "We were all surprised. Minjun has always been so focused on business." "What changed?" "I met the right person," Minjun replied calmly. "Or perhaps the pressure to produce an heir finally got to you?" James's smile was sharp. "Though given your medical history, we all know that's unlikely." Zara felt Minjun tense beside her. She put her hand over his, a wifely gesture but also a warning to keep calm. "Medical miracles happen every day," she said sweetly. "Who knows what the future holds?" Mi-sun's eyes sharpened on Zara. "Are you pregnant?" The table went silent. Zara felt every eye on her, including Minjun's warning glance. They'd agreed not to share the news yet. No, Zara said, the lie tasting bitter. But we're hopeful. When God wills it, it will happen. The religious reference seemed to placate me, son. Prayer is important. I'll send you to our family temple. The monks there are very powerful. The rest of dinner passed in a blur of veiled insults and tests. By the time they left, Zara's head pounded with tension. In the car, Minjun finally spoke. You did well. Better than I expected. Your family is terrifying. Yes, but you held your own against them. Even my mother seemed impressed, and she doesn't impress easily. He glanced at her. When James asked about pregnancy and you lied. Thank you. I know that was hard. We agreed to wait. Zara leaned her head against the window. Though your mother is going to have a field day when she finds out. 3 grandchildren at once. She'll probably build a shrine, Minjun said dryly, or explode from excitement. 50-50 odds. It was the first real joke he'd made, and Zara found herself laughing. For a moment, sitting in the car with her fake husband, pregnant with his very real babies, she felt something dangerous, happy. As Zara's pregnancy progressed into her second trimester, strange things began happening. Small things at first. Her prenatal vitamins went missing and were replaced with different pills in an identical bottle. Mrs. Chen found them and, suspicious, had them tested by a pharmacist friend. They contained misoprostol, an abortion drug. Someone trying hurt babies, Mrs. Chen said, her face grave. Must tell Mr. Kang. Minjun's reaction was immediate and terrifying. He hired a full security team within hours, 2 bodyguards who accompanied Zara everywhere. He had every lock in the penthouse changed and installed a sophisticated security system. This isn't an accident, he said, his voice cold with rage. Someone is trying to end your pregnancy. But who would even know? We've only told a handful of people. My family knows as of last week. I told them after your 3-month checkup showed all 3 babies were healthy. Minjun paced like a caged tiger. It has to be someone from inside the family. The attacks escalated. A week later, Zara received anonymous text messages. Those babies are bastards. Get rid of them before someone gets hurt. Then, you don't belong in this family. Leave while you still can. The final straw came when Zara's car wouldn't start one morning. The mechanic found that the brake lines had been cut, crudely but effectively. If Zara had driven at highway speeds, she and the babies could have died. Minjun went ballistic. He hired a private investigator, the best in New York, and gave him unlimited resources. Find out who's doing this. I don't care what it costs. The investigator, a shrewd man named Marcus Hayes, no relation to Zara's ex, thankfully, worked quickly. Within 2 weeks he had answers. He presented his findings in Minjun's home office with Zara present. The falsified infertility diagnosis, Marcus began, was paid for by your mother, Mrs. Kang. Diane Williams wired $20,000 to Dr. Richard Miller's offshore account 6 months before your original consultation. Zara's hands clenched. She'd suspected, but having proof made it real. The goal was to push you toward Marcus Davis, who Diane believed would marry into money through his job connections. When that plan failed, when Marcus proved useless, she pivoted. She encouraged your sister Simone to seduce Marcus, hoping to benefit from their union instead. My mother sold me out for business connections that never materialized, Zara said bitterly. It gets worse, Marcus continued. The recent attacks, the switched medications, the threats, the car sabotage, weren't your mother. That's someone else. James, Minjun said immediately. Correct. Your cousin has been systematically trying to undermine you for years. We found payments to the doctors who originally declared you sterile after your childhood illness. He bribed them to exaggerate the prognosis, to make the condition seem permanent when it was actually treatable. Minjun went very still. James paid to keep me infertile? In his mind, if you couldn't have children, he'd eventually inherit control of Kang Global. He's been positioning himself for years. Marcus pulled up financial records on his tablet. When you suddenly married Zara, he panicked. When he learned she was supposedly infertile too, he relaxed. But then he discovered she was pregnant, with triplets, and he lost it. Those texts came from a burner phone purchased near his apartment. The mechanic who sabotaged the car received a $5,000 wire transfer from one of James's shell companies. He tried to kill my wife and children, Minjun said, his voice deadly quiet. He tried to eliminate the threat to his inheritance, Marcus corrected. In his mind, no babies means you eventually step down and he takes over. It's all about the company. Zara felt sick. My family. His family. Everyone's been manipulating us for years. Not everyone, Marcus said. Your sister Simone knew about your mother's scheme with Dr. Miller. She actively participated. She seduced Marcus specifically because he was engaged to you, your mother's orders. But your father appears to have been in the dark. He genuinely believed Marcus was good for you. Small comfort, Zara thought bitterly. Minjun stood abruptly. Thank you, Marcus. Send me everything. Every document, every recording, every shred of evidence. What are you going to do? Zara asked after Marcus left. I'm going to end this. All of it. Minjun's eyes were cold with fury. They've been manipulating our lives, trying to hurt you and our children. I won't let them get away with it. How? Leave it to me. Trust me, Zara. Can you do that? She looked at this man, her husband in name, now the father of her children, someone she was starting to see as more than just a business arrangement. Yes, I trust you. Something flickered in his expression. Surprise? Gratitude? It vanished too quickly to tell. Good. Because tomorrow, we're going to war. Minjun organized a family dinner at the penthouse. Unusual, since family gatherings always took place at the estate. But he insisted, and his parents reluctantly agreed. The guest list included his immediate family plus James and his parents. Zara, now visibly pregnant at 5 months, wore a flowing dress that accentuated rather than hid her growing belly. Minjun had hired a catering company to prepare a feast, and Marcus Hayes sat in a corner with a laptop and projector, looking like a very expensive piece of decor. What's this about, Minjun? Hanjai asked as everyone settled in the living room. And who is this man? This is Marcus Hayes, a private investigator. He has some information to share about recent events. Minjun stood at the front of the room, every inch the CEO. As you know, Zara has been experiencing some concerning incidents over the past month. Tampered medication, threatening messages, sabotaged vehicle. Mi-sun gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. Zara, are you all right? Are the babies... The babies are fine, thanks to quick thinking and good security. Minjun interrupted. But I wanted to know who was behind these attacks. Marcus has the answer. Please, show them. The lights dimmed. Marcus pulled up financial records on the projector, documents with highlighted transactions, text message logs, everything laid out in damning clarity. James Kang, Marcus began, has been systematically trying to undermine Minjun for over 15 years. This started when Minjun was a child recovering from meningitis. James bribed the attending physicians to exaggerate Minjun's infertility prognosis, turning a potentially treatable condition into what seemed like a permanent state. James shot to his feet. This is ridiculous. I was a teenager. You were 17, Marcus corrected, and already thinking about inheritance. Your father was grooming you as a backup heir. You saw an opportunity and took it. The room erupted in Korean as James's parents began shouting. Hanjae roared for silence. Continue, he told Marcus, his face like granite. Marcus detailed everything: the bribed doctors, the shell companies, the car sabotage, the threatening texts. By the end, James sat slumped in his chair, his face ashen. "Uncle," James said desperately, turning to Hanjai, "you can't believe this. I would never—" "We have recordings of your conversations with the mechanic," Minjun interrupted. "We have the paper trail. You tried to kill my wife and children, James. There's no talking your way out of this." James's father jumped up. "My son made mistakes. But surely we can handle this within the family." "No," Minjun said flatly. "I'm pressing charges. Attempted murder, conspiracy. Whatever the lawyers can make stick. James will face justice." As if on cue, there was a knock at the door. 2 police officers entered, warrants in hand. James's face crumbled as they read him his rights. "You can't do this," James shouted as they cuffed him. "I'm family." "Hanjay, stop them!" But Hanjay turned away, his expression disgusted. "You are no longer family, get out of my sight." As the police led James away, his parents following in shock, the room fell silent. Then Misun moved to Zara, pulling her into a tight embrace. "I'm so sorry," she whispered. "I should have seen. Should have protected you." "It's not your fault," Zara said, surprised by the genuine emotion in the older woman's eyes. Minjun cleared his throat. "There's one more piece of this story. Marcus?" A new image appeared on the projector. Bank records from Diane Williams's account, showing the payment to Dr. Miller. "Zara's family also played a role in this conspiracy," Minjun explained. "Her mother falsified medical records to make Zara believe she was infertile. Her sister Simone actively participated in destroying Zara's engagement so she could steal her fiancé. They wanted to control Zara's life for their own benefit." "Where are they now?" Hanjai asked. "That's up to Zara," Minjun said, turning to her. "It's your family. Your decision." All eyes turned to Zara. She thought about her mother, about Simone, about all the years of being second best, overlooked, betrayed. "I don't want them prosecuted," she said slowly. "But I don't want them in my life either. They're not welcome here. When our children are born, they'll never know their grandmother or aunt. That's punishment enough." Somewhere across the city, Zara's phone, which she deliberately left on and connected to the penthouse speakers, transmitted every word to her mother and Simone, who'd been invited to call in to hear important family news. Their shocked gasps carried clearly through the room. "No!" Diane's voice crackled through the speaker. "Zara, you can't mean that. We're family." "You stopped being my family when you paid to have me declared infertile," Zara said calmly. "When you sold my happiness for business connections. When you helped Simone steal my fiancé. You made your choices. Now live with them." She disconnected the call. The room was silent. Then Hannah started clapping, slow and deliberate. "About time someone put them in their place." Misun wiped tears from her eyes. "Zara, you're stronger than I gave you credit for. Welcome to the Kang family. Truly welcome." Hanjay bowed slightly to Zara, a gesture of respect that shocked everyone. "You'll be a good mother. And a good daughter to us." As the evening wound down and family members left, Zara found herself alone with Minjun on the balcony, the city lights spread below them. "Thank you," she said quietly, "for protecting me, for believing me." "I always believe you," Minjun replied. Then, hesitantly, "Zara, I know our arrangement was supposed to be temporary, just business. But things have changed. You're carrying my children. We're building a life together. I think we need to renegotiate our terms." Zara's heart raced. "What do you mean?" "I mean," Minjun turned to face her fully, and in his eyes she saw something she'd never seen before. Uncertainty. Vulnerability. "I don't want a divorce in 2 years. I don't want this to end. I want us to try to make this real." "Real," Zara echoed. A real marriage. Real partnership. I can't promise I'll be good at feelings or romance. I've spent my whole life avoiding both. But I can promise I'll try. For you. For our children. If you're willing. Zara looked at this beautiful, complicated man who'd given her safety when she had nothing. Who'd protected her and her babies without hesitation. Who was looking at her now like she held his entire world in her hands. I'm willing, she whispered. I want to try too. Minjun's smile was like sunrise. Slow, warm, transforming his entire face. He pulled her close, and when he kissed her this time, it wasn't cold or perfunctory. It was real. Their first real kiss as a real couple, with 3 tiny lives growing between them. 7 months later, Zara woke up at 3 a.m. with what she thought was indigestion. By 4 a.m. she knew better. Minjun, she gasped, shaking his shoulder. It's time. He bolted awake with impressive speed for someone who'd been dead asleep moments before. Time? But you're 3 weeks early. Tell that to your children. They're coming. The drive to the hospital was a blur. Minjun held her hand, speaking rapidly in Korean on his phone, calling his family, Zara assumed. By the time they arrived, her contractions were coming hard and fast. Dr. Park met them at the entrance with a wheelchair and a calm smile. Right on time. Triplets like to come early. Let's get you comfortable. Comfortable was relative. The next several hours were a haze of pain, epidurals that only partially worked, and Minjun's steady presence. He never left her side, letting her crush his hand through contractions, whispering encouragement in both English and Korean. I can't do this, Zara gasped during transition. The worst of the pain. It's too much. Yes, you can. Minjun pressed his forehead to hers. You're the strongest person I know. You've survived everything life threw at you. You can survive this. Easy for you to say, I love you, he interrupted. I should have said it weeks ago, months ago, but I'm saying it now. I love you, Zara. You and these babies are my whole world. Zara wanted to respond, but another contraction hit. And then Dr. Park was saying, time to push. 3 hours later at 2:47 p.m., their first son entered the world screaming. Zara held him for 30 seconds before the nurses whisked him away to prepare for the next baby. At 2:51 p.m., their daughter arrived, smaller but equally loud. At 2:54 p.m., their second son completed the set, the smallest of the 3 but with the strongest cry. 3 healthy babies, Dr. Yoon Park announced, beaming. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Kang. Minjun was crying. Actual tears streamed down his face as he looked at their children, 3 tiny, perfect humans who shouldn't exist according to every doctor they'd ever seen. What do we name them? Zara asked, exhausted but euphoric. They'd discussed this over the past months, arguing good-naturedly about Korean versus English names, traditional versus modern. The oldest is Daniel, Minjun said, holding their firstborn with reverent care. Daniel Kang, strong and steady. The middle is Lily, Zara added, touching their daughter's tiny hand. Lily Kang, beautiful and resilient. And the youngest is Samuel, they said together. Samuel Kang, our miracle. Mrs. Chen arrived within the hour, followed quickly by Minjun's family. The hospital room filled with Korean and English, with joy and laughter, with a family celebrating 3 impossible lives. Misun held Lily with tears streaming down her face. 3 grandchildren at once. I'm the luckiest woman alive. Hanjae, normally so stoic, openly wept holding Samuel. The Kang line continues. Thank you, Zara. Thank you for this gift. Even Hana, usually so composed, dissolved into happy tears over Daniel. I'm an aunt 3 times over. This is the best day of my life. As the chaos swirled around them, Minjun pulled Zara close. She was exhausted, sore, and had never felt more beautiful in her life. I love you, she whispered. I should have said it before too, but I was scared. Of what? Of this being too good to be true, of losing it all. Zara looked at their 3 babies, now sleeping in their father's arms. But I'm not scared anymore. This is real. We're real. We're real, Minjun agreed. And we're forever. The second wedding, the real wedding, took place on a perfect autumn day in Central Park. Unlike their courthouse ceremony, this one had everything: flowers, music, guests, and 3 6-month-old babies gurgling in their grandparents' arms. Zara walked down the aisle in a dress that had been custom-made for her post-pregnancy body, feeling more beautiful than she had at any point in her life. At the altar, Minjun waited in a traditional Korean hanbok, his eyes never leaving her face. Do you, Kang Minjun, take Zara Michelle Kang to be your lawfully wedded wife, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, for as long as you both shall live? I do, Minjun said, his voice steady and sure. I absolutely do. Do you, Zara Michelle Kang, take Kang Minjun to be your lawfully wedded husband, in sickness and in health, for richer or poorer, for as long as you both shall live? Zara looked at this man who'd saved her life in more ways than one, who'd given her 3 perfect children, who'd taught her that love wasn't weakness, but the greatest strength of all. I do, she said, smiling through happy tears. When they kissed, their guests erupted in applause. Daniel, Lily, and Samuel added their own approval with simultaneous cries that made everyone laugh. At the reception, Minjun pulled Zara onto the dance floor for their first dance as a truly married couple. Any regrets? He asked, spinning her gently. Not even one. You. Only that I wasted so much time being scared of this. Of us. Minjun pulled her closer. I told you once I didn't do feelings. That love was a weakness. And now? Now I know love is the only thing that matters. You taught me that. He kissed her softly. From a fake marriage to 3 babies to forever. Best business deal I ever made. Zara laughed, radiant with joy. I don't think this counts as a business deal anymore. No, Minjun agreed, looking at their 3 children being cooed over by their extended family. This is so much better. This is everything. Across the reception, in separate corners they weren't aware of, certain people watched with very different emotions. Marcus Davis, who'd heard about the wedding through social media, realized exactly what he'd thrown away. Simone Williams, whose own pregnancy had ended in a bitter breakup with Marcus, understood too late what true love looked like. Diane Williams, who'd lost both her daughters through her manipulations, saw the family she could have been part of, and knew she had no one to blame but herself. But Zara wasn't thinking about any of them. She was thinking about the impossible journey that had led her here, from heartbreak to hope, from fake marriage to true love, from believing she was broken to discovering she was perfect exactly as she was. She held her husband's hand as they cut their cake, their 3 miracle babies watching from nearby. This was her family. This was her happy ending. And it was real.